Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the CRAFTiQ challenge, which is basically you get a new item each day for the first 7 days of the month, and then we have a layout that we work on and are done by the 20th. So this is our list of things. We had an image for inspiration. We had to include torn paper, a long title. We had to create a fold or some kind of origami or something like that. Add flair, leaves or leafy bits, and then do some doodling. And these items are given out, like I said, over the span of the first 7 days of the month. And the intention is that you work on it as the things are given to you, but that's not always like a feasible thing to do for everybody. So in that case, we don't, you can just do it, after the items are given out. So I started out with white paper because that is what the inspiration piece had, and I am going to cut some large numbers, but in order to meet the requirement of some torn paper and a fold, I tore my paper and then I folded it back, and then I just used my tiny attacher to hold those folded areas back. Now I did already start with my paper trimmed down a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch on each side. So by the time I was done, it's probably 3/4 of an inch off of two sides. And then I'm tucking these pieces of orange or yellowy orange papers behind. And those papers are from my Mind's Eye Indie Chic or Indie Chic. I'm not sure which way they pronounce it, but it is a really old paper. I've had it in my stash for quite some time. I'm trying to get it used up. So I thought this was a good layout to use it on because it's kind of got some fall colors in it, and I am doing a layout about Halloween. So, and it's not your traditional Halloween layout. It is basically talking about how the year of COVID in 2020, we did not really have Halloween, and that is kind of like a little bit weird for us because our street normally gets like 800 to 1,000 people, if not more, on it. And I know that sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I am really not. You cannot drive down the street. It is like if you were trying to drive down, drive through Main Street at Disneyland during like closing. It's packed. If you don't get home before the sun goes down, you are parking 2 streets away and walking in. It's just really insane. We've had haunted houses that we have hosted. We used to have a stilt walker and a fire dancer that lived down the street, and they would perform a few times throughout the night. So we also have another family that would do hot dogs and pass those out. Another family that would do coffee and hot cocoa and cookies. So it's just a huge thing. People come from far and wide. They come from different cities, not just across the city, but they come from different cities too. And it's like pretty insane. And so we weren't sure what 2020 would bring because of COVID and all of the stay-at-home orders that were going on. We do know that, there are some people that still weren't following those stay-at-home orders. We didn't know if they'd end up showing up thinking that there was going to be anything going on. Nobody in our neighborhood was really giving out candy like normal. There was no haunted house. There was nothing celebratory going on really, but my son's girlfriend had made like 20 little goodie bags in case we had kids in the neighborhood that were out walking with their parents. She would just be able to hand them to them if they wanted to take them. And so that's what this photo is. It's the two of them in costumes. And the reason they're in costumes is not only is it Halloween, it is also Noah's birthday. And so we were trying to just have a small family celebration for his birthday. And so my daughter and her husband and Noah came over, and then the people in my household and my mom's household, which is next door, which we kind of go back and forth between each other's homes quite often because like I'll do a lot of the grocery shopping for them and such. And that kind of thing to kind of keep them from going out. And now my niece and her husband live there, so she does a lot of the grocery shopping for them too, just so they don't have to go out and brave the germ-infested world so much. Anyway, so it was a very small group of us together for Noah's birthday, and then like I said, his girlfriend decided, we'll just make these little bags in case we have kids in the neighborhood that are out walking with their parents, and their parents are okay with them taking a bag of candy. So that's what this photo is, and that is what my story is about. I'm going to use that entire right-hand side to go ahead and just write basically what I told you. So I started out with these big numbers. These were cut on my silhouette, and that is just the Arial bold font. It is nothing special, but it was perfect for what I wanted to do, and that was based off of that inspiration piece where it had the big 2016 numbers. And I'm going to do my journaling on the same right-hand side, but I am not going to type it up like they have. I'm going to handwrite it. I am doing my doodling all the way around, and you saw me just outlining the right-hand side of those letters with my Muji pen, and that's going to fit the bill for the requirement of doodling. I've got some flare pieces on there that I've popped up with some foam, so that is filling the requirement for flare. And then I'm going to work on my title, and my title is going to say in, and you can see it right there up in the in the arch of the two. It says in, and so it's going to say in 2020 Hollyween was not a thing, and our street is called Holly, and so it has actually been coined Hollyween if on like Nextdoor and a couple of other places where people post about it. And so it was interesting. My mom recently told me that she found an article about how people would come far and wide to Halloween back, like I want to say she said in the 30s or the 40s. It must have been the 40s or the 50s because our neighborhood wasn't built until the 40s, to my knowledge anyway. But they would come far and wide to celebrate Halloween on this street even way back then. So when I was a kid, I don't remember it being such a big thing, but it's back. So my title, again, in 2020, Hollyween was not a thing. And I know that sounds like a mouthful, but it looks really good on the paper. So I was pretty happy with the way that it came out. I am using this little tiny alpha set, and these are from Do Crafts, I believe. And I've had them in my stash for quite some time. I don't know if they still make them. And I don't even know where you can get them because I didn't even look that up. I don't have a link for you for that, so I apologize. But Tim Holtz does have some very small alphas like this. So you can type in like tiny alpha or tiny alpha dies if that's something that you're interested in. The two that I have from him are ones that I purchased at Hobby Lobby, so you may be able to find those there. So one thing I do recommend is if you're looking for alpha dies, always look to see what the size is, because oftentimes you might think they're really large. When you get them, they're like an inch tall. And I mean, an inch is pretty good, but it's still pretty small. So always look at the size. So I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out, and I've just put a little bit of glue on the back of my hand there so that I can dip my letter in and I can kind of tap the glue off so that it's not like a big blob of glue sticking out from underneath those letters, because they are so tiny that even my Nuvo, the glue would come out of the bottle in too large of a stream to put those on without the glue like squirting out from underneath it. So this is a really good way to do it. You could also put it on like a piece of acetate or acrylic or packaging or whatever and tap them off that way. But on my hand, it's just really easy because it's all right there. So I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. I did use two different fonts of those the smaller fonts, and they were both from Do Crafts, the capitalized Hollyween, and then the lowercase for the rest of it. Now, we were also supposed to use leaves of some sort, so I cut out this paper, has a floral on it, and I cut the petals out to make them look like leaves. And then there is a little leafy looking piece, and I am cutting that out as well, but it's not green, it's kind of a grayish color, but because it's from the same paper that second two was cut out of, it matches perfectly. It's also the paper that is tucked underneath the edges, and so it just brings those pops of kind of like that orange and that really warm yellow color. And I thought that was perfect because it matches the costumes that my son and his girlfriend are wearing. And so I was pretty happy with the way that turned out. And then there's not a whole lot more to this layout, but I will remind you that there's a ton of people playing along with CRAFTiQ. So go and check out their channels. I will have links down below for them. And if you're not part of the CRAFTiQ Facebook group, I would highly recommend that you go check it out, and you will get the prompts the first 7 days of the month. And then you have until the 20th to go ahead and make your layout. Well, You can make it at any point, but if you're going to share it like on YouTube or Instagram as part of this hop, then you would need to have it ready by the 20th. So hopefully this is something that is of interest to you, and it's kind of fun. It's a little bit different way of looking at the challenge, and it's a bit like a recipe challenge, but instead of getting the entire recipe at one point, you get it in stages. I do tend to work on it all at one time because I just don't have the space in my craft area to leave it sitting waiting for the next item for that long. And that is in large part because I try to scrapbook multiple times throughout the week. Otherwise, my channel doesn't have enough content on it for you guys. So there's not really a good spot for me to just leave it sitting and waiting. So I am just about done with adding these little pieces on here, and then I'm going to pull out some dilutions in black, and I'm going to splatter some black ink, and I am using the shimmer spray instead of the regular dilutions. It doesn't have a ton of shimmer to it. There's just a little bit, and it turns out really black, which I'm really happy with because it's taken me a while to find one that is got a really deep black color to it, and I do like the way that it looks. And I don't make you sit through all of my journaling because it's quite a bit to fill up that entire right-hand side. And so I will start the journaling on camera, and then you will see the rest of it in the close-ups, which are coming up in just a few moments here. If you have questions or comments, I would love it if you would leave those down below in the comments box, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. I don't respond every day, but I do respond to every comment. So if you leave a comment, just rest assured I will get back to you as quickly as I get the chance to. So here are the close-ups. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to go and watch everyone else who is playing along. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love it if you'd give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. The flare. The flare is from Dottie About Flare. So if you are looking for flare, Dottie About Flare has flare, and you can join their Facebook group. Thanks so much. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.